The sun beats down on the Giza Plateau. It is a relentless, unforgiving force. The heat shimmers above the golden sands, creating mirages that dance on the horizon. Here, for millennia, three colossal shapes have dominated the landscape. The Great Pyramids. They are more than just stone. They are a challenge, a question posed to every generation that has stood in their shadow. Who built these magnificent structures? How could a civilization from the distant past, armed with what we consider primitive tools, achieve such a monumental feat? The silence of the desert holds these secrets close, its whispers carried on the wind. For centuries, the pyramids have been a source of endless fascination and wild speculation. They have captured the imaginations of poets, conquerors, scholars, and dreamers. The ancient Greeks believed they were the work of slaves, 100,000 souls toiling under the crack of a whip. Later tales, spun in the pages of science fiction and whispered on the internet, suggest something more otherworldly. Did extraterrestrial visitors, with their advanced technology, descend from the heavens to lend a hand? These stories, while exciting, often obscure a truth that is perhaps even more incredible. A story of human ingenuity, dedication, and sheer willpower. The question lingers, hanging in the dry air like the dust of ages. It is a mystery that has puzzled the greatest minds. We look at the precise alignment of the pyramids with the stars, the incredible accuracy of their construction, and we are left in awe. The sheer scale is almost impossible to comprehend. Millions of massive limestone and granite blocks, some weighing as much as a small car, were cut, transported, and lifted into place. How was it done? The answer is not simple. It is not a single name or a single group. It is a story woven from many different threads, a complex tapestry of society, belief, and ambition. As I stand here today, on this sacred and ancient ground, the mystery feels more potent than ever. The stones themselves seem to hum with the energy of the past. They have witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the birth of new religions, and the dawn of the modern world. Yet they remain silent witnesses to their own creation. The stories they could tell are locked deep within their core. Our task, as historians and archaeologists, is to listen carefully to the whispers in the sand. We must piece together the clues from ancient texts to modern scientific analysis to uncover the real story of the people who built the pyramids. To understand who built the pyramids, we must travel back in time. We must journey to ancient Egypt's Old Kingdom, over 4,500 years ago. This was an era of unprecedented power, stability, and artistic flourishing. The land of Egypt was a marvel, a thin, fertile ribbon of life carved through the vast desert by the great River Nile. Its annual floods brought rich black silt, ensuring bountiful harvests and a prosperous population. This wealth was the foundation upon which the pharaohs built their eternal monuments. The kingdom was united under a single divine ruler, the pharaoh. The pharaoh was more than just a king. He was considered a living god on earth, the intermediary between the heavens and humanity. His authority was absolute. It was this divine status that fueled the pyramid-building age. These structures were not mere tombs, they were resurrection machines. They were designed to ensure the pharaonic spirit, the Ka, could successfully journey to the afterlife and take its place among the gods. The pyramid was a ladder to the stars, a physical manifestation of the pharaoh's power and his connection to the divine cosmos. Great cities like Memphis buzzed with activity, centers of administration, religion and craftsmanship, all orchestrated to serve the king. The society that built the pyramids was highly organized and deeply religious. At the top was the pharaoh, surrounded by his royal family and a court of high-ranking officials, priests and scribes. These were the educated elite, the masterminds behind the grand project. Men like Imhotep, the brilliant architect who designed the first step pyramid for King Djoser, were revered for their wisdom. They were the engineers, the project managers, and the theologians who translated the pharaoh's divine ambition into a concrete architectural plan. They drew the blueprints, calculated the angles, and organized the colossal workforce required for the task. This entire kingdom was a well-oiled machine, geared towards a single monumental purpose. The quarries buzzed with workers cutting stone. The Nile teemed with barges transporting massive blocks. The desert plateau became a vast construction site, a hive of human activity on an epic scale. The pharaoh himself, a figure like Khufu, for whom the Great Pyramid was built, would have overseen the project with immense pride. He would have watched as his eternal home rose from the desert floor, a testament to his power, his divinity, and the incredible skill and devotion of his people. This was not just building a tomb, it was building a legacy for eternity. So, who were the people who did the heavy lifting? For centuries, the popular image, fueled by Hollywood epics and ancient Greek accounts, was of countless slaves. They were imagined as a miserable, oppressed mass, driven by whips to their deaths. But modern archaeology has painted a very different and far more fascinating picture. Just south of the Giza pyramids, archaeologists unearthed a remarkable discovery: the lost city of the pyramid builders. This was no temporary camp for slaves. It was a planned settlement, a thriving town with houses, bakeries, breweries, and even a medical facility. The remains of this village, now known as Hayt el Ghurab, tell a powerful story. Archaeologists found evidence of a highly organized community. The inhabitants lived in long galleries, dormitory-style housing that suggests a rotational workforce. They were fed well. Animal bones found in the village rubbish pits show that the workers ate a diet rich in protein from beef, mutton and fish, a luxury in ancient Egypt. This was not the diet of an enslaved population. These were skilled craftsmen and labourers who were valued for their work. They were paid not in coin, but in rations of bread, beer and other essentials. These were not just anonymous labourers, they were proud Egyptians, contributing to a national project of immense religious and cultural importance. Graffiti found on the pyramid blocks themselves reveals the names of the work gangs. Teams had names like the Drunkards of Menkaure or the Friends of Khufu. These playful names suggest a sense of camaraderie and pride, not coercion. The workers were organised into divisions, each with its own supervisors and tasks. They were part of a system, a community that came together from all over Egypt to build a monument for their divine king, believing it would ensure the prosperity and stability of the entire nation. Life was still incredibly hard. The work was dangerous and physically demanding. Analysis of skeletons found in the workers' cemetery shows signs of a life of hard labour. Arthritis, fused vertebrae, and healed fractures. But they were also cared for. Evidence shows that injured workers received medical attention, with bones being set and even amputations being performed. This level of care reinforces the idea that these were not disposable slaves, but a valuable, skilled workforce. They were ordinary Egyptians, farmers, craftsmen, builders, who, for a part of the year, became monument makers, driven by a powerful combination of duty, belief, and national pride. The construction of the pyramids stands as one of the greatest engineering achievements in human history. The precision is simply breathtaking. The base of the Great Pyramid, for example, is almost perfectly level, with a difference of less than an inch from corner to corner. It is aligned with astonishing accuracy to the cardinal points of the compass. How did an ancient society, without the aid of lasers, steel, or modern computers, achieve this? The answer lies in their profound understanding of mathematics, astronomy, and the natural world. They used simple yet ingenious tools and techniques with incredible skill. The process began in the quarries. Workers used copper chisels and stone pounders to painstakingly cut the enormous blocks of limestone and granite. They would carve channels into the rock, insert wooden wedges, and then soak them with water. As the wood expanded, it would crack the stone along a clean line. These massive blocks, some weighing over 50 tons, then had to be transported to the building site. Most were moved on wooden sledges, which were dragged over smooth pathways. Experiments have shown that wetting the sand in front of the sledge would have dramatically reduced the friction, making it possible for a team of men to haul even the heaviest stones. Once at the Giza Plateau, the real challenge began, lifting the blocks into place. The most widely accepted theory is that the Egyptians used massive ramps. However, the exact form these ramps took is still a subject of intense debate among Egyptologists. Was it a single long straight ramp that grew with the pyramid? Or was it a more complex system of spiral ramps that corkscrewed around the outside of the structure? A more recent and compelling theory suggests a combination of ramps, including an internal ramp that wound its way up through the pyramid's core. This would explain the lack of evidence for a massive external ramp. Inside the Great Pyramid, the engineering is even more astounding. The King's Chamber is a marvel of construction, roofed with 9 massive granite slabs weighing a total of 400 tons. Above it, engineers built 5 stress-relieving chambers to deflect the immense weight of the pyramid and prevent the king's burial chamber from collapsing. This demonstrates a sophisticated understanding of structural mechanics. The entire project was overseen by a vizier, the pharaoh's chief minister, who acted as the lead architect and project manager. He would have used detailed plans, likely drawn on papyrus, to coordinate the thousands of workers and ensure every stone was placed with divine precision. For centuries, the story of the pyramids was dominated by a single powerful narrative, the tale of slave labor. This idea was first recorded by the Greek historian Herodotus, who visited Egypt in the 5th century BC, some 2,000 years after the pyramids were built. He wrote of 100,000 men toiling for decades, forced into labor by tyrannical pharaohs. This dramatic account was compelling and has been repeated ever since, shaping our collective imagination. It became the accepted truth, a simple and satisfying explanation for an almost unbelievable feat. The image of whips cracking over the backs of suffering slaves became inextricably linked with the pyramids. However, as we have seen, modern archaeological evidence has systematically dismantled this myth. The discovery of the workers' village, with its evidence of good food, medical care, and organized community life, directly contradicts the slave labor theory. The graffiti left by the work gangs, with their proud and playful names, speaks of willing participants, not captives. These were Egyptian citizens, performing a form of national service. Many were likely farmers who worked on the pyramids during the months when the Nile's floodwaters covered their fields, making agriculture impossible. It was a form of civil and religious duty. Why then did the slave myth persist for so long? Part of the reason is that it came from a source as respected as Herodotus. But it is also important to understand his context. He was a Greek, writing for a Greek audience, and his culture was often defined in opposition to the great empires of the East, like Persia and Egypt. Portraying the pharaohs as cruel tyrants who used slave labor fit neatly into a narrative of Greek freedom versus Eastern despotism. Later, the story was adopted by Judeo-Christian traditions, which associated Egypt with the enslavement of the Israelites, further cementing the idea in the Western mind. The reality of a paid, skilled and respected workforce is, in many ways, a more impressive story. It replaces a tale of oppression with one of incredible social organization and collective purpose. It reveals a society capable of mobilizing its entire population in a shared national project, driven by a profound religious conviction. The pharaoh did not need whips to build his pyramid. He had the devotion of his people, who believed that by building his eternal home, they were helping to maintain the cosmic order and ensure the prosperity of the land they all loved. The real story is one of cooperation, not coercion. Just when we think we have the answers, the sands of Egypt reveal a new secret, a new clue that challenges our understanding. The story of the pyramid builders is not a closed book. It is a dynamic field of discovery where new evidence constantly rewrites what we thought we knew. One of the most exciting recent finds is a collection of papyri discovered at the ancient Red Sea port of Wadi al-Jarf. These documents, known as the Diary of Mera, are the oldest papyri ever found. They are the personal logbook of an official who managed a team of about 40 elite workmen during the reign of Khufu. Mera's diary provides an unprecedented first-hand account of the final years of the Great Pyramid's construction. He details his team's work, transporting fine white limestone from the quarries at Tura across the Nile to the Giza construction site. He records the boat journeys, the rations they received, and the complex logistics of the operation. It is a stunningly personal glimpse into the machinery of the ancient state. This is not the testimony of a slave, but of a proud and efficient middle manager, meticulously documenting his role in the greatest building project of his time. This discovery brings us closer than ever before to the people who built the pyramids. Even with these incredible discoveries, fundamental questions remain. The precise method used to lift the heaviest blocks to the highest levels of the pyramids is still a matter of fierce debate. The internal ramp theory, supported by new scanning technologies that have detected mysterious voids within the Great Pyramid, is compelling but not yet proven. Did the Egyptians possess a level of scientific knowledge that we have yet to fully appreciate? Some scholars point to the incredible precision of the construction as evidence of a lost science, a deep understanding of mathematics and physics that was forgotten in later ages. The pyramids, then, remain shrouded in a captivating aura of mystery. We have peeled back the layers of myth and misconception, replacing the story of slaves with a more complex and human tale of skilled workers, brilliant engineers, and a society united by faith. Yet we are humbled by how much we still do not know. The stones keep their deepest secrets. As technology advances, we may one day be able to peer inside the pyramids without moving a single block, revealing hidden chambers and passageways. Until then, the question of who really built the pyramids will continue to echo through the ages, a testament to the enduring power of the ancient world to inspire our wonder and our curiosity.